I'm Neve from Catfish, the series that investigates social media mysteries. Tonight, the new series True Life Crime investigates the most harrowing true crime mysteries rocking headlines and social feeds. These victims were young. The crimes against them were shocking, and haunting questions remain. True Life Crime is here to expose the truth.
Alexis Tiara Murphy was born in Charlottesville, Virginia, to her parents Laura and Troy. From the very beginning, she was described as beautiful, joyful, and full of energy. Alexis wasn't just a teenager going through high school, she was a girl with a clear future, surrounded by love and possibility. At Nelson County High School, she stood out not only because she was smart and talented, but also because of the way she carried herself. She was captain of the volleyball team, preparing for senior year, and planning to continue her love for the sport when she moved on to college. For her, life was just opening its doors. But Alexis was more than just a student athlete. She was also what many would call a social media queen. Before platforms like TikTok exploded into fame, Alexis was already living in the digital spotlight. She had a strong following online, regularly posting videos, sharing her daily life, and connecting with friends and strangers alike. Her mom, Laura, would later say that if Alexis had been alive today, she would have easily been TikTok famous. Yet, despite all the attention she received, Alexis remained humble and kind. She wasn't snobby or distant. She could start a conversation with anyone, and her friendliness made people feel welcome. However, that same kindness would later be seen as a double-edged sword. Friends and family recalled how Alexis had a way of trusting people, sometimes too easily. She never saw the bad in others, which is what made her so lovable, but it also made her vulnerable. This is what many believe played a role in what happened to her. For her family, these memories remain bittersweet. Alexis was the kind of young woman who had everything going for her: athletics, popularity, ambition, and a bright spirit that lit up every room. Nobody could have imagined that her story, filled with laughter and potential, would be so suddenly and cruelly cut short. The vanishing day was August 3, 2013, when Alexis Murphy woke up in her family's home in Shipman, Virginia. The morning felt like any other. She rushed down the stairs, laughing and full of energy, excited about the day ahead. She had plans to get her hair styled for her senior pictures, an important milestone that every teenager looks forward to. Her mom, Laura, handed her some money for the salon before heading off to her shift at the post office. Alexis was radiant that morning, joking and smiling, not knowing that this would be one of the last times her family saw her alive. She climbed into her father's white Nissan Maxima and set out for Lynchburg, about 20 minutes away. On the way, she tweeted about her trip, something her family and friends were used to seeing. Alexis documented nearly every part of her life online, sharing updates and posts with her growing audience. But after that tweet, her online activity went silent. There were no more posts, no calls, and no replies to texts. For someone as active as Alexis, this sudden silence was strange. At first, her family thought little of it. Maybe she was hanging out with friends, enjoying the day. But Alexis had a strict midnight curfew. She wasn't the type to ignore it or cause her parents unnecessary worry. When midnight came and Alexis still hadn't returned home, her grandmother grew concerned. She checked her room only to find it empty, the bed made as if it had never been touched since morning. Fear set in immediately. Laura and Troy were called, and within minutes, panic filled the Murphy household. Their daughter wasn't home, and she wasn't answering her phone. For a family that knew Alexis's habits so well, it was clear something was terribly wrong. Within hours, Alexis was reported missing. What started as a normal Saturday had now turned into every parent's worst nightmare. Clues at the gas station when investigators began tracing Alexis's last known steps. They focused on where she might have gone after leaving home that Saturday. Their search led them to a gas station in Livingston, Virginia. Surveillance cameras there offered the first major lead. The footage showed Alexis on the property the same day she went missing. She appeared calm, filling her father's white Nissan Maxima with gas and then walking inside the station. For a moment, it seemed like nothing unusual, just an ordinary stop. But then, something stood out. As Alexis exited the station, a man held the door open for her. His face wasn't clear due to the grainy quality of the video, but one detail grabbed investigators' attention: a large tattoo on the side of his neck. He was wearing a plain white shirt, and though his actions appeared harmless, detectives couldn't shake the feeling that this man was important. At first glance, he looked like any stranger passing by, performing a small act of courtesy. But his presence, combined with something else, drew suspicion. Parked nearby was a camouflage-painted suburban-style vehicle, one that stood out immediately. It wasn't the kind of car you'd easily forget, and it matched reports of a man who spent hours sitting in the gas station lot, watching people. The connection between the tattooed man and that unusual vehicle became the center of police attention. For Alexis's family and the community, the discovery of this footage was both hopeful and terrifying. Hopeful because it gave them a trail to follow. Terrifying because it raised the possibility that Alexis had crossed paths with someone dangerous. Investigators knew that this mystery man was more than a random face caught on tape. He might be the key to unraveling what happened after Alexis drove away. The man with the tattoo, the man spotted on the gas station footage, soon became the center of the investigation. Detectives tracked the unusual camouflage vehicle to a rundown camper in a wooded area near Lovingston. When they knocked on the door, a man stepped out, and the sight immediately confirmed their suspicions. On his neck was a large, dark tattoo of Daffy Duck, the same distinctive mark seen on the grainy video. His name was Randy Taylor. Randy was quick to deny knowing anything about Alexis. He told investigators he hadn't seen her, hadn't spoken to her, and had no clue why they were at his camper. But detectives weren't convinced. They asked for permission to look inside, and Randy agreed. The moment they entered, their eyes caught unsettling details. On the floor lay a diamond stud, possibly from an earring or nose piercing. Jewelry Alexis was known to wear. A broken fingernail and strands of black hair were also recovered, scattered across the camper's floor and pillow. Each small clue whispered of a struggle, a frightening possibility that Alexis had been there against her will. The evidence was collected and sent for testing. Days later, results confirmed what everyone feared. The hair and nail matched Alexis's DNA. This discovery changed everything. Randy was no longer just a man of interest. He was the prime suspect in Alexis Murphy's disappearance. When confronted with the DNA results, Randy shifted his story. He now claimed Alexis had visited his camper with another man, someone with dreadlocks, and that they'd left together. But when police tracked the man down, his alibi was airtight. He wasn't even in Virginia at the time. Randy's lie collapsed. What had begun as a mystery was quickly turning into a chilling case of abduction. The man with the tattoo was hiding something far darker than he let on. Justice and discovery, with mounting evidence pointing toward Randy Taylor. Investigators knew they had to act quickly. The DNA results, the suspicious behavior, and the items found in his camper created a picture that was impossible to ignore. Randy was arrested on charges of abduction, though the case would only grow darker as detectives continued searching. A second sweep of his camper revealed more damning evidence. Alexis's hair extensions, false eyelashes, and a white shirt stained with blood. It was the same shirt Randy had been wearing in the surveillance footage the day Alexis was last seen. DNA testing confirmed what her family feared most. The blood and hair belonged to Alexis. The discovery painted a horrifying story. Detectives believed Randy had lured Alexis from the gas station to his camper. The broken fingernail, the scattered hair, and the blood-stained shirt all suggested a violent struggle. Even as the truth closed in, Randy tried desperately to twist the narrative. He claimed that Alexis had left his camper with another man, and later, he even attempted to blame known serial offender Jesse Matthews. But every lie unraveled, every attempt to deflect crushed under the weight of evidence. In May 2014, less than a year after Alexis's disappearance, Randy Taylor was found guilty of first-degree murder, abduction with intent to defile, and felony murder. He was sentenced to 2 life terms in prison. Yet, despite the conviction, Alexis's body was still missing. Her family endured the unthinkable agony of knowing who had taken her life but not where she had been laid to rest. It wasn't until December 2020, more than 6 years later, that the long wait for closure came to an end. Human remains were discovered near the area where Alexis had last been seen, and in early 2021, they were confirmed to be hers. Though devastating, this final discovery allowed her family to mourn properly and honor her memory. On June 6, 2021, what would have been her 25th birthday, friends and family gathered at her high school football stadium to celebrate her life. Alexis Murphy's case shows how a normal day can turn tragic. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Do you think justice feels complete without closure? Or does a family need both to truly heal? The Murphy family created a memorial garden to keep Alexis's spirit alive. While their pain will never truly fade, they have found peace in knowing that justice was served and Alexis was finally brought home. Her story is a reminder of how quickly innocence can be stolen, and how strength and love can carry a family through the darkest of tragedies.